Good afternoon, folks. It's been a little while, so this is my first video in about a month, and for that I can only apologise. But it kind of brings me onto the topic of today's video, because to be honest, over the last month I haven't done a huge amount of delivery work. So I wanted to make a video today where I'm just doing a small Morrison's block today, 27 quid, 1.5 hour, and I thought, what a perfect time to get the camera back on and have a little chin wag with you guys about the state of gig delivery work in 2024, because in my opinion things are kind of in the worst place they've ever been. I could have gone. You know when you feel like an idiot because you're the only one that doesn't go? Okay, we're good. Because yeah, I have to say delivery work has been difficult, particularly at the start of this year. And look, I know the winter time is the worst time of the year, after Christmas that is. January, February, they're not the best months to do this job, end of. You're gonna struggle a lot more than you are the rest of the year. But boy, was I not prepared for the fall off in earnings potential since the new year began. I had a little glimmer of hope, actually. I think if you watched my last Amazon Flex video, where I got that £91 block, and it was only a 2-hour route that it gave me, and I felt like I'd hit the jackpot. The day I booked that, there were like 10 other blocks, all exactly the same, 3.5, £91, and I thought, oh my god, maybe this is the year for Amazon Flex, and there's going to be loads of work available, because I think I filmed that on like January the 4th or 5th or something like that. But I should have known, really. That was more just the leftovers from the Christmas period, because since then both Morrison's blocks at my local shop and Exeter blocks for logistics, they are basically nowhere to be seen. If you sit on the Amazon Flex app all day refreshing, you might see one pop up, but literally the next time you hit refresh, it's gone. You have to be so quick to get anything. And Taunton Morrison's, god, only a few months ago I was regularly getting both of their normal blocks every day, the 1.5 and then the 2 hour that comes after it. Honestly, every day I could get them pretty easily. Lately I've been lucky to get 1 or 2 blocks there a week, and half the time that's only because they pop up as one of those just for you reserved offers. And that surprises me a bit, to be honest, because I would have thought grocery shopping wouldn't have suffered from the same fall off as people buying stuff on Amazon and takeaways. So it might be a different reason. That might be just driver overpopulation. I've definitely seen a lot more delivery drivers there that I've never seen before when I'm picking up the bags. So yeah, it's just been a bit of a kick in the teeth, really. I was very, very used to that kind of daily routine I had of getting both of the Taunton Morrison's blocks and then doing food delivery the rest of the time, which for the most part worked out pretty well. And yeah, that's kind of just been taken away now, and I'm being forced to do a lot more food delivery when I would have otherwise been doing Morrison's deliveries with Amazon Flex. Or I have to go to Exeter and do some logistics blocks if by chance I manage to get one. Anyway, let's go and get this first order dropped off, and we'll talk about food delivery apps and what they're going through this year. Alright then, 2 drops left, and this next one, yeah, we got a 15-mile drive, half an hour. This route is a pretty long mileage one, to be honest, but that's fine. I mean, it gives me the opportunity to have a good chat now about food delivery apps, namely Uber Eats, Deliveroo, you know, the 2 that I currently work on. So for a start, it's pretty apparent that across all food delivery apps, pay levels are at the lowest that they've ever been at. It's a tricky issue, because, you know, I don't want us to be paid so much that the apps become too expensive for customers to use, because then we won't have any orders to deliver at all, and it's already bad enough. But then again, it is very difficult to justify reducing average fees across the board over the last few years, as living costs have just gone up and up and up. We haven't even seen, you know, base fees rise just in line with inflation. They've objectively dropped. And a lot of this data has been tracked by apps like Rodeo, and to be honest, it's not that difficult just to feel it yourself anyway. I started doing food delivery. It was Deliveroo I signed up with first. I started with them the end of 2021. Everything about the job then was just easier. I could feel that the pay was higher than it is now from the same kind of distance trips. Orders were more consistent. You could work during the day and still be kept relatively busy. Obviously, you know, you have your quiet moments. There are things that are out of Deliveroo's control in that regard. You know, they let us log on and work whenever we want to, so naturally there are going to be times when loads of delivery drivers who really aren't needed decide to go and work. So unless they were to introduce some kind of staff limiting where they don't let you go online if there were already too many riders online, then there's not really a lot they can do about that other than limit driver numbers at particular times of the day. So I understand from Deliveroo's point, and all of the particularly Uber Eats, maybe not Just Eat so much, because they do control the delivery blocks that you have, and they make sure that they only have the amount that they think they're going to need at certain times of the day. But for Uber Eats and Deliveroo, where their whole selling point is you can log on whenever you want and work for as long as you want, if they're going to give you that opportunity, then you kind of also have to accept that, well, if a load of drivers, if too many drivers decide they're going to work this Wednesday afternoon, the byproduct of that is you're going to be sat around doing nothing for a lot of the time. So I can see both sides with that issue in particular, the not getting enough orders on those two apps in particular. In a way, that's the price we pay for the flexibility of the log in, log off whenever you want kind of work model. But I mean, back to the fees. I mean, yeah, I can feel that particularly during the day, the fees they're absolutely the lowest they've ever been. And I think that is mainly a byproduct of the number of riders. I think is the highest it's ever been, particularly in my area. I can't speak for everywhere, but it's certainly something I've noticed. And you know, when supply outstrips demand, the consequence of that is that Deliveroo can ultimately pay less because there are more people waiting for orders who don't want to be sat around not earning money. But yeah, I mean, in general, I do think it's time for these apps to consider increasing their base pay and the payment algorithms that determine the pay for a trip. Even if it's like 5, maybe 10%. Because then if you're doing those orders all week long, you're going to end up with a pretty healthy chunk of extra cash at the end of the week than we're used to now. They don't need to, I mean, we'll get on to talking about the strikes in a minute, but I've seen some drivers were apparently requesting base pay to be increased to £5 as a base fee and then £2 per mile on top of the base fee. Yeah, good luck with that. These apps would be out of business before you had enough time to even sign on to the dole. I think payment terms like that are kind of ridiculous, but just a small percentage increase on what we've got now, perhaps 10%, something like that, would go a long way. I'd quite like to see the base fee for a car go up from £3.15 to say £3.45, add 30p on, because I've definitely noticed myself being shocked at the fees I'm being offered for some fairly long trips. And it's mainly during the day when it's not very busy, and these apps know that they don't need to offer you big fees, because what are you going to do? Carry on sitting around waiting for orders? No, you're going to suck it up, you're going to take it just to kill the boredom for 15-20 minutes and just earn a few quid. That's still a better option for most people than just sitting in their car. Now, I will say, during the evenings, particularly weekend evenings where it's still moderately busy enough, it's not as busy as it was a couple of years ago, that's for sure. Again, I don't know if that's down to there being more riders or if it's down to less customers ordering. I've got a feeling it's probably a bit of both, but I will say that I haven't noticed the fees being as bad during the evenings when it's busy, and that stands to reason. Obviously there's more of an incentive for Deliveroo to offer better fees during the evening when it's busy, so they can avoid a backlog building up. But that same motivation just doesn't exist for the vast majority of the day. So I think that's the thing, right? I think a lot of the complaints are coming from the full-time riders who work from morning to evening, and for the majority of their day, they are seeing fees that are the lowest they've ever been. And they're practically forced into working through the evening every day to make up for the deficit that they take on by working the daytime hours as well. But then again, they also can't get by just going out in the evening, you know, that wouldn't earn them enough. So yeah, all in all, I think it is time for some kind of pay increase. I don't think we need to demand a huge increase, certainly not the £5 base fee with £2 per mile, but something like that, just, you know, from a business standpoint, it just isn't going to work. But I don't see any reason why a 10% fee increase would suddenly put these apps into the ground. And then on top of all that, we've had 2 big strikes. At the time of filming this video, this year, there have been 2 fairly well spread strikes affecting Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and I believe Just Eat. Typically they've been held in larger towns and cities. From what I saw, I didn't actually work on the days of either of the strikes, but from what I saw in Taunton anyway, it didn't appear that the strike was being actioned where I live. I think it's a small enough town, it's probably off the radar a little bit, and I think things were as normal, because I was out and about on at least one of those strike days, and I definitely saw delivery riders going into restaurants. There certainly weren't mobs of delivery drivers blocking riders from getting into restaurants, slashing their tyres. You know, I've heard some frankly disgusting stories from some of the other strikes, which does absolutely nothing to boost the opinions of delivery riders to the general public, by the way. The biggest pushback I saw about the strikes was, this is gig work, it's never been advertised as a stable full-time income, so you don't really have any right to moan about it, because you're well within your rights to decline any jobs that you don't think are worth doing. And look, I can see that side of the argument, but also, if these delivery apps want to operate from 6 AM until 2 AM or whatever the hours are in your area, they need people to work at those times of the day, and they know full well most of that coverage is going to come from riders who are out 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, grinding, delivering every order they can. Personally, whilst I understand that, yeah, this is gig work, and when we sign up, you know, it's all laid out pretty clearly to us that we're paid per order. There are no guarantees of a certain hourly wage or anything like that. You do also have to think, well, these apps want to operate pretty much all day, every day, and they need drivers to cover all hours of the day. So they need to at least make it viable to work 9 AM, 10 AM on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, the quietest times of the week. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit here, but it's a bit sad to see, in all honesty, because I really, really love doing this delivery work. As sad as it seems, you know, there's something about working for yourself, getting out and about, chilling out in your car or on your bike, just making some deliveries, music on, podcasts on, and earning, you know, reasonable money whilst you're doing it. And also having the opportunity to put in the hours to make really good money if you want to. If you want to work all week long, you've got the opportunity to do that. You don't have to ask somebody for the overtime and hope that they approve it. If you want to work 100 hours in a week, you log onto your food delivery apps and you can work 100 hours a week. But I do think it's reasonable as well to expect the delivery apps to try and ensure a reasonable stream of work if you choose to go online and work for them. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys thought about the strikes that have happened. Do you think they were worth doing? Do you think they were handled well? And do you think it's going to help change the minds of Deliveroo, Uber Eats, Just Eat? I did see actually that Deliveroo sent out warnings of strike action to the restaurants. I'll see if I can find the screenshot. I think it was on Reddit I saw it. But basically Deliveroo did warn restaurants in advance that there is planned strike action, and
they will be taking steps to try and minimize disruption for the restaurants, such as cancelling orders that have been waiting around to be picked up for too long and things like that. So, you know, Deliveroo definitely had heard about it and decided to take some kind of action, at least towards the restaurants. So I don't know, maybe that's a good sign of things to come. If they are having to take at least minimal steps to try and prepare for these strikes, if they keep happening, who knows? We might see that pay increase. As long as we're reasonable, let's not go around asking for £5 base fees and £2 a mile. Because honestly guys, that just isn't going to happen. And your Big Mac meal on Deliveroo would have to cost about 20 quid to facilitate a fee like that. But I do think, you know, if we keep our demands reasonable and fair, that we can see improvements. Because, like I said, I love this job, I love the freedom, but it will get to a point where it just isn't worth it anymore. And that will be a very sad day. Right, we've got a few more miles to go to our second drop, and we'll finish off after this delivery just talking about what's in store for this channel in 2024 and beyond. Cute little area. Hi mate. There's 2 more bags for you. Oh, buddy. That's it, that's the lot, mate. Cheers, mate. Right then, on our way to our last drop of this block, I just wanted to touch on the future of this channel, especially as, you know, considering the challenges, certainly at this time of year, of gig delivery work. Because I've always liked, particularly for my food delivery videos, going out when it's busy and showing you really good shifts. But I think even if things stay the way they are and fees are the lowest they've ever been, order volumes seem to be the lowest they've ever been, whether that's customers not ordering anymore or there being more drivers, again, I think it's a bit of both. But I think there's still opportunity there to make really good content and to document, ultimately, the life of a delivery driver. But I think there's still opportunity for me to kind of treat this channel as more of a documentary channel, showing you the good and the bad and giving my opinions on the strikes and how I'm finding the job in my area. Because despite everything I've said in this video, I have still had the odd good day. Let this guy through. You know, one I had not too long ago. I think I worked 5 hours and made about 80 quid after expenses. It was a particularly good shift. And so I still kind of want to document those, but also the bad ones. So I think I'm gonna be picking up Amazon Flex shifts when I can. I'm gonna be going out for food delivery shifts. And I think when it comes to the channel as well, with regards to upload volume, I'm gonna be real. I think for me, a schedule just doesn't work for me. My life is very, very busy at the moment. I have to change plans last minute quite a lot, especially with my baby daughter growing up. But I am going to try and upload more regularly. I think that is important. I think I owe it to you guys, the support you've showed me, to keep you up to date with the world of delivery work and ultimately just share my adventures. I think that's what you guys enjoy. Whether it's good or bad, I think you just like seeing the adventures. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments what it is you like about my videos. Because I think ultimately, whether the industry is doing badly or doing well, you want to see me document it. But alongside that, I do have plans for some really good challenge videos this year. My working 9 to 5 Monday to Friday video has just hit over 200,000 views, which is insane. So based on that, it would appear that people want to see me hit goals and do things that are a bit unusual, whether it's trying to hit crazy earnings amounts and seeing how long it takes me, working crazy hours and seeing what kind of money I make. So I'm definitely planning some more challenge videos like that. Subscribe if you haven't already, by the way, because there are some good ones coming up. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I do think they're going to be interesting when they drop. And yeah, ultimately, I want to thank everyone as well for their support on the channel. As of the time of filming this, we're just about to hit 5,000 subscribers, which I still cannot believe. I started this channel in, I think, July last year. So in a matter of months, to have 5,000 people click that subscribe button and to have way more people than that viewing my videos as well, it's just crazy to me. So thank you all so much for showing me that you're interested in the videos I make and the kind of information I'm trying to put out there about what this job is like, the realities of doing gig delivery work in a car in particular. And regardless of whether the gig delivery industry is thriving or if it's in a really bad place, I'm going to document that journey and use this YouTube channel as kind of a way to report on the world of gig delivery work and all of the ups and downs that come with it. Let's go and get this final order dropped off. Hi, all right. That's all there for you, all right? Thanks a lot. And you, take care. So we're done. That was a fairly easy block. I mean, only 3 drops. Quite high on the mileage. I've run the numbers. We made £12.09 per hour for this block. That includes the time and miles back to Taunton because I'm a little bit far out at the minute, but I just wanted to film this outro before I head back. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to have a little chat with you today. I know it's a little bit different to my normal videos, but I just wanted to kind of update you on the things that have been on my mind about this job, how it's affected my kind of motivation to want to get out and make videos. But I think I've realized ultimately I almost want my role to be with this channel a reporter on the ground. I want to document what this job is like through the good and the bad. And I think ultimately that's what you guys want to see as well. You don't want to just see busy shifts or amazing Amazon Flex blocks, and you know, you don't just want to see all the highs of this work. You want to see the lows, and you want to see how, as times move on, how the job is changing, how the pay is changing, how the conditions are changing. So that's what we're going to focus on. Now, as for my next video, it's going to be a challenge video, food delivery only. It's going to be interesting, certainly in the landscape of 2024 and where we're at with food delivery and the fees and the order volumes. We're going to be trying to make a certain amount of money in one day. So look out for that video. Subscribe if you haven't already for that. It's going to be a good one. It's been good to talk to you again. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep documenting what this self-employed gig delivery landscape is like. Will we see conditions improve? Will we see pay go up? I'm going to do my best to be on the ground and report it all back to you guys, and we will cover this whole world of delivery work together. Thanks for watching. As always, folks, plenty more videos up and coming. Like I said, things are going to get a lot more regular on the channel. Following this kind of period of downtime, I'm feeling very, very motivated to cover what is this boggling world of self-employed gig work. Catch you soon, peeps.